Okay, so this is the Raw after a relatively meh SummerSlam. So they do get resolution on the Brock Lesnar Randy Orton bit. Yeah, that was a partial plan. It was designed to go as bloody as that, but Lesnar suspended again. Sasha Banks does have a back injury. She'll probably be out for a couple of weeks. Finn Balor did blow out his shoulder. He is out for 6 months. Woohoo! Totally glad I bought tickets to that Raw house show in Chicago, which will be my first live WWE non-NXT event since that No Mercy where Triple H wrestled 3 times. Taking my wife to her first WWE live event. We were both saying, oh, we can wear our Finn Balor shirts. Yep. It's like, now he's injured, what are we going to see? I don't know. They've still got Enzo Big Ass. Charlotte will have probably a pretty solid match with somebody. It's like, well, we still have Rollins, Jericho, Owens, Neville, like cruiserweights. New Day clubs. There's still some good stuff to go see. But then as we could begin with, we're going to do a tournament, kind of. Okay? They've got their 3 main event heels, Rollins, Owens, and Jericho. Remember they did the draft and everyone was like, man, Raw is just stacked with talent. And it's like, well, they got a solid mid-card. There's your 3 heels. Then all your faces show up. Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns, Enzo and Big Cass. Okay, here we go. Opening match. Rollins, Sami Zayn. Looks like Zayn tweaks his ankle and keeps on going. Loses to a pedigree. Overall, not a bad match. Kevin Owens comes out. Who is he taking on for a shot in the fatal 4-way match? Neville. Neville didn't show up in the opening segment. Alright, continuing. Enzo and Big Cass comes down. Big Cass takes on Rusev, who also was not in the bid. But you already know you've got your 2 heels. You've got Rollins and Owens in it. So now you're like, oh, well, Cass is going to win because you have to balance the matchup. Cass wins by countout. Overall, not bad. Told a good story. Rusev kicked Enzo on the outside. Alright, that works. Progress things. Main event ended up being Jericho, Roman Reigns. You can guess how it went. Roman Reigns overcame the odds of Jericho and Kevin Owens, kicked out some finishers. Hit a spear, got a 3 count. Alright. New Day came out. Talk about how it's been 1 year now that they're champions. Big E was there with them. The club comes down. Anderson gets in Big E's face. They have a one-on-one match, which then ends with the 2 men beating down Gallows on the outside. Anderson eating a big ending. 1, 2, 3. Okay. The Dudleys said their long goodbye. It was good. It was a nice emotional moment. Then the Shining Stars come down. They get pounded on, but then the Bullet Club shows up. Sorry, the club. Sorry, can't say Bullet. And they beat down the Dudleys. Magic Killer through a table. Alright. You know what? If they signed a little extension, I would actually dig a Dudley's back his face, club his heels feud after they finish the thing with the New Day. I could see that. That could be a good, solid, hard-hitting feud. Have them be the ones that put the Dudleys up the pasture. Good. That works really well. Charlotte's new champ came out talking about how awesome she is. Foley comes down and is like, we signed a new acquisition, and it's Bayley. Alright. Crowd responds nicely, even though the crowd was very chanting, "We want Bailey," and "Hey, we want some Bailey," and "Bailey, ooh, ah, won't you be my girl?" So they did all of their chants. Then Bailey, of course, defeated Dana Brooke. On her way taking on Charlotte, probably at Clash of Champions. Okay. Beyond Bailey showing up, this was a very... You can tell the crowd is exhausted. It's also the problem when you run 3 long nights of shows in front of the exact same crowd. So I'm thinking next year. Don't do the Barclay thing. Don't do Brooklyn. No. No. They go into business for themselves way too much. No. Instead, co-run SummerSlam with Wizard Universe in Chicago. That way then you can be like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do Allstate Arena, book it for the NXT TakeOver, book it for SummerSlam. Yeah, this isn't a massive arena. You know, you can get really the 13,000, 14,000, which pretty close. You know, Barkley holds 2,000 more. Book Monday Night Raw for it afterwards. Because let's be honest, that arena is too small now to ever get a WrestleMania again. So might as well give them a big pay-per-view. You get a lively crowd. It's going to be hot the whole time. Make it work. Nikki is going to be making her SmackDown debut. So I'm a fantasy book Nikki's return. Here we go. Have her show up and have her talk about, probably pretty briefly, about why she went to SmackDown. Because her brother-in-law is there. And then it'd be like, so who's the champion? I want first shot. Like, there's no champion. Okay. They can then have the rest of the division come out. And you can be like, well, out of everyone here, I am the only person who's been champion. Carmella never a champion. Alexa Bliss never a champion. Natalia's been a champion, but then she had the farting gimmick. Or around the time she was the farter. And I don't think anyone actually recalls her as Divas champion. And even if she wasn't the longest reigning Divas champion. Naomi, no. Becky Lynch, the only horsewoman to not have actually held the NXT Women's title either. And I would almost redo the Triple H on Raw moment. I actually would hand Nikki a title. And then you do a small tournament to find who takes her on for the first title defense. I would push Nikki as hardcore heel and just do it. Build the division around super strong heel Nikki. And it'd be a lot better than having her face Becky Lynch, then beating Becky Lynch to become champion. Have her go full on heel, and it makes a really good dynamic. Oh, one other thing that happened on Raw. They let Titus O'Neil in the ring with a live mic. And he stumbled a lot. Just wants to know why he's not a main event guy. He then called out Bob Backlund. And after fighting out with Chicken Wing, beat down Bob Backlund. Raw, everybody. Where giant, swole black guys beat up aged crazy white men for cheap heat. And Braun Strowman took on a guy who I guess is one of their first gay characters. Because when he was asked, Johnny Knockout, why are you going to face... I like large, sweaty men. Ah. There's your first LBGT character. Very much a... what? Episode of Raw. But we've got Bailey at least.